Okay, guys, I'm going to go live here. Going to go do a quick sound check. Make sure my audio is good. Looks like it is. I'm just going to make sure I'm streaming on the appropriate areas. And we are going to get started. Going to get started today. It's pretty cool. I'm watching on Facebook and I see the captions are there. Okay, looks like we are good. Guys, what I'm going to go over right now is actually something I love doing. And this is generating marketing lists, right? It's the market selection and choosing a marketing list. Hey, what's up? Hey, I can't see who that is. It just says Facebook user. I'm gonna go to Facebook and oh, that's cool, and see who it is. But hey, what's going on, man? So guys, I love doing this. If you guys don't know, like basically this is what I would do on a day-to-day basis for my company, ccgarlandmarketing.com, is we're an agency. So since 2018, really 2017, the game chose me, right? I didn't choose the game. People want me to help them out with their marketing because they saw how good I was crushing it in Charleston, right? And Charleston's super competitive. So I was helping people around the area and in areas I wouldn't focus on, like Folly Beach, more of like the affluent areas, like the Isle of Palms and stuff like that. And I would focus on like the more like hood areas when I started. So anyway, guys, I'm going to show you guys the importance of, not the importance, but what I would do to put together a marketing list from scratch. If you guys have a market you want to choose, drop it in there. If not, I have a handful of markets I'll choose from, and I'll show you why specifically I would choose one market over another. So let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going to start sharing my screen with you guys. All right. So yeah, let's go ahead and share, go to Chrome here. Sure you guys. Okay, you guys you see that Chrome tab. So the first thing I like doing, guys, is just determining the market. And I'm going to have some notes up here. I'm going to share with you. Yes, sir. Back on the content. Back on content. Okay, Las Vegas. So we got Las Vegas. Hey, any other ones you guys have? Let me know. But I'm going to show you guys just preliminarily Las Vegas. If somebody asks you, is Las Vegas a good market to go to? This is the absolute first thing I would do. No kidding. The first thing I do whenever I go online, out to Las Vegas. Grand Prix is going to be there later this year, but Las Vegas MSA, guys, MSA means Metropolitan Statistical Area. That's what we need to be focusing on primarily whenever we are going in an area. So the reason why I start here is because we want to look and see everything we have in a particular market. Like, so if I ask 10 investors, what do you consider, what zip codes do you consider Las Vegas? I'm going to get 10 different answers. So I needed a way to be like, okay, if I'm going to go to Las Vegas, that area, how do I know what's included there? There has to be a standardized way. The thing I love about America is that there's so many things that are homogenous when it comes to like business, right? So, when it comes to homogenizing certain industries, I mean, really, guys, the properties and the fact that every parcel is basically accounted for in the United States is huge. You know, even if you see land in the middle of nowhere, it's accounted for, even if it's accounted for by the state. So, with that being said, this is important to know because if our cash buyers say, "Hey, Cece, I'm in Las Vegas. I want to get some properties there." If I'm just thinking, okay, I'm going to target Las Vegas, and I may say like I may go out just after the main zip codes in Las Vegas. So I'm going to see what the main county is. So Clark County is the main county. Clark. Okay. Okay. And so I'm just looking at some data here, right? I want to see how big the area is, right? For one, I want to see where like what the homes are selling for. We're not even there yet. We just want to see how big the area is. Is it rural? Is it too big? Is it too small? Is it enough to sustain a marketing campaign for the next 3 to 4 months? That's basically what I want to know, guys. Prior to contrary to prior beliefs, a lot of people think that they can wholesale and invest in any market. Yeah, you can. Guys, I could probably swim in the desert if I bring enough water there, right? On plains or or however I would get it out in the desert, but that doesn't make it easier, right? So we want to make things easy on ourselves. So if we're wholesaling, we should be automatically thinking, okay, if I can't wholesale my main market, it's not the end of the world. Where can I go to wholesale that's going to be easier than my current market? But we first need to determine what makes a good market and what makes a bad market, right? What determines a good versus bad market? So Clark County, okay, it's the 11th most populous county in the United States. So I'm seeing that has volume, right? If the more people it has there, guys, and usually I like to see over 1 million people, the more people it has there, that means the more people I have the more housing units, right? You're not going to have 1 million or 2 million people that live here and only 100,000 single family residences, Even if you have like 1 million single family residences, you're still going to have, if it's a city that size, it's going to have development and phases over the years. So you're going to have 1 year, you may have had development starting in the 1920s and then in the 30s, 40s, 50s. And then so you could target people basically that don't just own new houses, right? So you could tell a lot of information based off of this, the number of people that live here. It eliminates a lot of the questions that I may have, in particular, whenever it comes to, can I sustain a marketing campaign in here for multiple months or multiple months? Really, I want to be able to stay in here for 2 months. If I only have 100,000 people that live here, guys, I may only have 20,000 housing units in the main county. If I have 300,000 people, I may have 100,000 single family housing units that I could target, right? But then once I put filters in it, like the year built, only targeting people that bought their houses for $100,000 and less, I may be left with only 10,000 records. And that may only get me a month or two worth of marketing. What am I going to do on that third month? Pull the same data and skip trace it? No, we need fresh data. So you can be in a rural area that's too small. So just know it's really important, the market that you go into. It's like something that's not talked about at all. And it's like the most important thing you can do, because that's also going to determine how competitive the market is. And when I say competitive, how much money you need to be spending to close a contract. If you're going to Los Angeles, California, and the median sale prices are $900,000, it may take you, 500 sellers and $30,000 doing cold calling, direct mail, and text message marketing to get one property under contract. Yeah, you may make a $50,000 assignment, but guys, that's a huge risk out of pocket just to not, I wouldn't say just to make that money, because that's a good profit, but that's a lot of money out of pocket if you are in the situation where most people are in, which is like, it's just you and probably maybe like 2 or 3 other employees that are working with you, maybe your spouse. It's not a situation where you're this huge corporation. Even if you had the money to spend, I wouldn't suggest people do that. That's just silly, because we can take that $20,000 or $30,000 that I spent to make that 50K. And guys, I can make 5, 10, 50, 20, 25. I can make 6 marketing campaigns, probably 10 marketing campaigns out of that comfortably, and make $100,000 over the next 3 months. At a minimum, I can do that. At a minimum. And also too, guys, it's important not to fall in love with certain markets, right? For me, I'm looking at every market like this is X, Y, and Z United States, right? I'm not falling in love with it. Now, I know I have a special place in my heart where the place I grew up at, which is why I think it's good if you can just start your wholesaling journey, virtual wholesaling, because if not, guys, you might find yourself in a situation where you are getting googly eyed and you stay in the market for a little bit too long, and it may be more competitive than if you just went a state over. I'm talking about myself. I did the same thing. I was in love with Charleston, South Carolina. There's only 100,000, 200,000. There's like 300,000 people that live in Charleston. Not a lot of housing units. It's not competitive. And I should have realized too, hedge funds don't want to be there. So even though it's a nice market, it's not big enough to sustain a lot of growth, right? You're going to be competing with a lot of people over the same properties. And if our goal is to make a 20K wholesale fee, it shouldn't matter where we go. If it doesn't matter if it's in Birmingham, if it's in Columbus, Ohio, Cleveland, Kansas City, Tampa, Jacksonville, Florida, Charlotte, North Carolina, if all those markets are very similar, if they are able to generate enough leads for us to make 20K in the next 30 to 60 days, I don't care which one it is. I'll just pick one, right? So when you guys hear me talk about markets, that's how I view them, right? I view things from a very logical standpoint, and I follow the data. Let me go back and see if I have any comments here. Oh, Philadelphia. Okay, that's a good one. Philly's a good one. And just so I see you guys' names, let me actually go and see on Facebook if I can see who's commenting here. Because, well, it's not on my profile. Maybe it's in my group, or maybe it's on YouTube then. Okay. Brent Ellis. Hey, Brent, what's going on? Hey, man, I'm pulling your list this weekend. Brent actually purchased a 10,000 record list from us, and we're going to be working on that and getting that to him by Sunday at noon, so he can start off on the right foot on Monday. So yeah, awesome, man. Thank you for your business, Brent. I really do appreciate it. Okay, Alicia, Philadelphia, and then I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, Danis. Okay, Durara D is 10 minutes from Philly. I'm just reading the comments now. I had one and it was lost. So, okay, so I might do Philly, but guys, I'm going to compare both. This is a perfect example. So I'm going to show you guys Los Angeles, Las Vegas, and then I'm going to show you guys Philly, like, and which one I would choose. So I already know which one I'll choose in the back of my mind, but I'll show you guys what I'll do. So let me not get too down a rabbit hole here. So Clark County, let me back up, make sure I'm not forgetting anything here. Okay, Las Vegas. Okay, so boom. So another reason why we do this, guys, is because we want to make sure that we are going in all the places where our cash buyers will be interested in. So if your cash buyer says, hey, I only want Las Vegas, and he's not super emphatic about it, if he doesn't give you specific zip codes, he'd consider anywhere in this MSA. That's why I was trying to just get uniform and on the same page about what's, like, when I go in an area, what are the left and right limits? Where does the county, where does the MSA start and where does it end? Without me having to call realtors to get this information, guys, because you know them. I have my comments about them. So I also like seeing if there's like 3 or 4 county. 3 or 4 counties is decent for me to see. I'm going to try to see if I can view all the counties here in Las Vegas. It might just be Clark County, guys. So we said the valley. They said the valley of no. Okay, guys, I think it might just be Clark County. Okay, so state's largest urban agglomeration, the Las Vegas metropolitan statistical area is coextensive since 2003 with Clark County. Okay, so I think that basically means, let me just make sure I'm spinning over the same place our time. Okay, so it looks like this, basically it's the same thing, right? Las Vegas is synonymous with Clark County. Clark County is Las Vegas. There's no other county in this area. Now, there's a basin area surrounded by the mountains to the north, south, east, and west of the MSA. The valley is home to the 3 largest incorporated cities in Nevada: Las Vegas, Henderson, and North Las Vegas. So I'm going to go in my list pulling tool. I wasn't going to go here yet, but I want to see how it looks in my tool here. So it's Nevada. Okay. So looks like all those municipalities are in Clark County. So we got so 11 unincorporated towns: Las Vegas, Henderson, North Las Vegas. Okay, guys, Las Vegas, Henderson. Okay, they're all in Clark County. So perfect example, guys. A lot of people just want to go into PropStream and just start pulling lists without even doing this. The reason why this is important too is, guys, if everybody else is just saying, "Hey, I just want to target Las Vegas," and they're not even considering a Henderson, guys, and we have adequate home volume there, our home sold volume. I'm going to go to Redfin to see what the Henderson home volume is. Guys, okay, so we had 516 homes sold. Well, that's year over year. Okay, no, that's in the last 30 days. That's pretty good. So imagine if everybody is just targeting Las Vegas because they said my buyers just want me to just want me to focus on Las Vegas, Las Vegas, Las Vegas, but they're not even considering Henderson, and you have 516 homes sold last year, right? That's why it's good starting here at a starting point to see everything that you have in front of you, because what I've seen happening is people always ask me the best list pulling tool. The best list pulling tool is the one that nobody else has, as long as it does its job to pull data. Because if everybody's using PropStream and they could go and click those lists in there, and guys, I got PropStream. I use it today. I use PropStream to mainly comp out my properties or underwrite my properties for my CRM, which we won't be focusing on that right now. But if I go to PropStream and I type in Henderson, Nevada, right? Henderson, Nevada. Guys, what do you think everybody's going to do? You think they're going to go and try to like create custom like filters in here and say, well, let me only focus on the people that that have owned their houses for a minimum of like 10 years, right? Or maybe like 30 years. Some people may do this. Or, let me go and only find the people that I want to see what the future. I don't pull lists here, guys. Where the beds are, 3, right? Minimum 1, and it's just like, I'm sorry, it'll be three bedrooms and 1 bath. Give me 1 second. Let me go back here. I'm trying to make a point. Okay, come on. All right. Okay. So that's typical, right? Now, what if I told you that not all the data that's available and property ownership information is available in PropStream? What if it's missing? We just assume that this is the most popular tool, that it has all the owner information. It's just the end all be all, right? It's just the best thing on the market, right? Wrong, guys, wrong. So what I like doing is curating my own list in tools that are more complicated, because the more complicated it is, the more of a hurdle it is for people to use, but the more of a reward it's going to be, because I'm not, guys, when I do my marketing list, when I pull my marketing list, I don't have a whole bunch of people saying you're like the 100th person that calls me. Why is it whenever people contact me and they say they have issues with their marketing, they're like, man, Cece, it seems like everybody and their mom, even if I'm in an area that's good, they're all saying, why, like I've had like 100 people call me. I'm being facetious, but they'll say, hey, I've had a lot of offers on this property, because everybody's targeting the same list. Everybody's going right here to click vacant. Everybody's going right here to click high equity. Everybody's going to, and if they get fancy, they may say quick list. Let me do a divorce list. Let me do a high equity list. Let me do auction. Let me do free and clear. And so, guys, it's like, and there's no organization, no rhyme or reason and I'm going to get to that. List organization is a whole nother thing, right? The way that I do it is I do my stuff in a certain way. So I know that I got all the properties in the area and I didn't skip trace or pull the same record twice. And it takes strategic thinking up front to do that instead of focusing down the road. And you guys may say, well, man, why is this important? Why is this guy talking about this? It's because, guys, nothing is more discouraging than once you're starting your trip on the road and you have to stop if you get a flat tire, or you have to stop because somebody gets sick, or you have to stop to put oil in your car, or let's just say you didn't do maintenance on your car. You have to find somewhere to do maintenance on your car, and you have a 12-hour road trip, and you're in, the fourth hour, and then that happens to you. I hope you guys are understanding my analogy here. We don't want to start our marketing campaigns and start, really, the summer selling season starting, and get to a point where we are moving along well, and we're rolling along well. We're like, man, I pulled this tax delinquent list. It's really good. I had 2,000 people. This may last you 2 weeks. And then you're like, man, PropStream was so good. Let me get this bankruptcy list. Oh man, 180 people, free and clear. Man, that's a lot of people. Maybe I can filter this down a little bit more, this free and clear list. And maybe I can do bank owned. Now, notice, guys, you aren't even taking into consideration the area that these properties are in. What if you're pulling lists and you're targeting, you have nothing but bank owned properties, but you're targeting properties in the middle of nowhere with no homes sold, right? What if it was only 51 homes sold here, or maybe just 5? And yet I have a lot of data here. And just because I have a lot of data doesn't mean that I have a lot of demand, right? Data does not mean demand. You guys should tweet that, right? Just because I have a lot of data in an area doesn't mean I have a lot of demand for those properties. So what I do is I go off of the market insights on Redfin. And guys, only thing I'm using are free data sources to do this stuff so far. Now you'll see me, I'm using PropStream, but that's not really part of my system. I'm using that to make a point. But this tool is something that's, that I use, right? That I pay for. But outside of that, and that's Investor Child Toolbox, but Wikipedia, Clark County, Henderson, guys, all this data is here and it's available. And this is why I'm not scared about AI at all, because while the data is available, we need somebody to interpret it. We don't need people asking AI and chatbots questions and answers. We don't need AI, ChatGPT, to sit here and say, yeah, CC, the median sale prices for Henderson County are $435K, and you had 516 homes sold with 71 days on the market. And what if I just was able to ask that to a tool? Great, thank you. That prevented me from going to Redfin, but what do I do with that data? How do I know? What do I make sense of that? How do I make sense of that? Is it good, bad, up, down, right? So critical thinking isn't going away, right? And I think it's more important than ever not to become lazy and go on autopilot and think just because we see something like PropStream, they sold the company for 50 million, which is awesome. I think that's the amount, but it was a large amount. That's great. But guess what? That means a lot of people are using it. If a lot of people are using it, and I think, guys, and I saw this stat a few years ago, and I'll see this. How many real estate investors are entering the market every year, every month? And this is all going to come back around. I saw this a few years ago, and it was on Bigger Pockets. And it said something like 50,000 people were entering in the real estate market every month. And I'm not saying these people are succeeding, but they're going to PropStream and they're going to be pulling a list. And it's not like they're going to all 50. They have a selection of all 50 states. What they're going to do is go to the main states that you guys are in, that I'm in: North Carolina, Georgia, Texas, Ohio, Milwaukee. Milwaukee's not a state. Wisconsin, the Midwest, Arizona, right? They're going to go there. And guys, there's only a handful of popular markets that they're going to go to. Las Vegas. So they're going to go to PropStream and say, okay, well, and they're going to go on, one of the popular YouTubers now videos. They're going to say, okay, the best list to pull is to go to PropStream and pull a free and clear list or tire landlord list. Guys, if it's easy for you, it's easy for everybody else. Guys, a niche list is something that's niche, which is good. But also, when I think about niche lists, it's a list that nobody else has. And And it's just really important to have data that other people don't have access to. I'm not saying, guys, my list, whenever I pull them here, I'm not going to get data in Investor Title Toolbox. I'm not going to get data in Investor Title Toolbox exclusively. That's not in PropStream. It's not like all the data in here isn't in PropStream. That wouldn't be correct, to be honest. One of these tools will be wrong. But what I am saying is that the data is parsed a little bit differently. And it actually uses terms from the mortgage industry, which makes me feel a little bit more confident. Excuse my slurring language there, guys. I need to grab some water here in a second. But versus, and I don't think PropStream does, guys. And let me see. And this isn't a bashing PropStream or saying this tool is better than that one. Notice, guys, if everybody started to use Investor Title Toolbox, I'd run and get something else. Because the competitive advantage, and this is something I learned in military intelligence in the Army, your competitive advantage are your sources, right? And in here, in the real estate industry, our sources are our tools. These are our data sets. So I'm not going to sit here and use something that everybody else uses. That's why I'm not in all the popular stuff. Guys, you're not going to see me out here being like Mr. Popular when it comes to hopping on the most popular thing that everybody else is using. If everybody's going left, I'm going right. If everybody's going right, I'm going left. Not for the sake of being a nonconformist, just typically I know that where the majority is going, especially if something has a lot of hype, the hype dies down. Guys, I've built my company on systems and processes that I've optimized over time. And I built on them. I've used this tool since 2017. Sounds pretty boring, right? Yeah, it's made me and my partners millions of dollars in wholesale assignment fees and flips, guys. Right? So that's just something to keep in mind here. So I digress. What was the point I was making there? Get on my filibuster here, but this is something I'm very passionate about because, guys, I just don't hear a lot of people talking about this. I'm like actually pretty tired of being not heard, right? Which is why I'm going to put some marketing dollars to get my brand out here so people know about me. But I wanted to make sure I knew what the crap I was talking about before I started preaching what I said emphatically from the rooftops, from the hilltops. But now I'm pretty sure after pulling a lot of data that I can say confidently that each tool misses data. And I'm not going to say PropStream is worse than the other. I just think if there's an easy button to do stuff, it's easy doesn't equate to best. And just because something easy doesn't mean it's not good, right? Because I like having easy things that are simple in my life. But when it comes to list pulling, and because I know this is so important, I don't want to have data that everybody else has, especially with how much money we spend on marketing. Every time I pull a list, I'm dropping like, just on the data, I'm dropping like 1,200 on a 10,000 record list. That's 12 cents. I know people get it for different amounts, but guys, the reason why I stick with the data source I have is because it's proven. Guys, I pulled over 2 million records with this tool, and I've had people come back and say, man, that list you pulled me was awesome. And this is going back to 2017. So it has a good track record, basically. And with my skip tracing, it has a good track record too. If somebody comes to me and they're like, hey man, you could get data for 8 cents. Guys, I have how much worth today? 7, 18, 19, 20. With my current data source, my current skip tracing source, I've been using that since 2019. So 2021, 22, 23. So that's 4 years of track record worth of data. That's putting marketing dollars behind, like tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars collectively between me and my partners and everybody that uses my data and I haven't had any issues with people coming back and saying, man, that list was like horrible, or, I didn't get calls back, or that thing just like didn't perform well, or all of these were wrong numbers. That actually is the work, like that scares the crap out of me, right? So I don't want to sit here and switch my data set and then I'm experimenting with my client's dollar just to increase my profit margins. I'm not doing that. I'm not taking that gamble. So the same thing with me. If I'm doing a marketing campaign, I'm pulling a marketing list and I'm paying my cold calling team, I have to pay them up front for the month. I pay them it was $1,600 per cold caller and texter, and $1,600 for a texter. Guys, that's a lot of money. to pay somebody right there and to have bad data. So if you're in a bad market and you have bad or you have data everybody else has, and you're using a crappy skip tracing tool, and you haven't even started your campaign yet, and you're using a crappy Filipino cold caller, you're not going to get results. Your marketing campaign is not going to go well. So it's all these things in tandem collectively indicate will indicate if your marketing campaign is good. So when people ask me, well, is this a good market? I'm like, well, that's not the only component you need to be looking to. That's, if somebody says, well, hey, is this data provider good? I'm like, well, yes, but it may not be yes and no. But it may not be the issue with why your marketing campaign failed. They may say, hey, I tried Filipino cold callers, they sucked. Somebody else says I tried Filipino cold callers, they were great. Well, one person may have been in a great market with great data, and it was practically impossible for them to fail. Another person could have been in a more difficult competitive market with better cold callers that were Filipino, but the Filipinos were the scapegoat. So if you guys are familiar with that term, or if you're not familiar, scapegoating is basically placing the blame on a person or a group of people, to sort of like you're putting all the blame on that, right? And we don't want to do that, guys. And we want to look at our business actually as what it is, not what we hope it to be. So it's all these components in tandem. Let me check my notes, not my notes, my comments here. Okay, cool. Yeah. Hey, watch the playback, guys. This should be streaming, or I should be saving this. Hopefully it'll be saved on YouTube at minimum and on Facebook. Great. All right, guys, let's get back into it. So, okay, so I want to try and knock this out in the next 30 minutes. I could drag this on for a long time because there's so many different points of emphasis I like making here. So many different nuances, so many different ways you could get tripped up. And I'm always thinking like Minesweeper, like that game Minesweeper. At any point, I could throw out my marketing dollars and end up losing money if I'm not keeping track of these specific on certain specific indicators. Like these are big indicators, and we'll get to that in a second. Okay, so guys, let me look at Las Vegas. So it looks like Clark County is the only county. I usually like seeing 3 to 4 counties, guys, but to be honest, this has 2 million people in it, so I'm fine with that. I'm going to look at this in comparison to Philadelphia, though. Philadelphia MSA. Okay, so we have the Philadelphia, Camden, Wilmington MSA. So when I look at this, I'm looking at okay, so these are all the counties, and most guys, when you type in the MSA, usually on Wikipedia, if you go about halfway down, you're going to see a list like this. I like seeing this because it displays all the information in a nice field with some extra data here. So Philadelphia County, Philadelphia County, it has 1 million people, 1.5. So off the bat, guys, we already have about is it half the people? It might be over half. Oh, 227. Okay, so we have, I would say, under half of a little bit under half of the people that we have in the Las Vegas County. But guys, check this out. We have Montgomery County, which is 860,000 people. This is large enough, this county itself, just to be its own MSA. I like looking at that. Bucks County is 600K. Delaware County is 500K, 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 500K. So in total, we have 6 million people versus 2.2 million people, guys. So I'm already thinking, based off of how many people there are, there's going to be more housing units in Philadelphia, right? Because I'm considering all of these in the Philadelphia MSA. And I've analyzed this market before, and I've pulled in any of these areas. And guys, this is important because you can have some areas that are up and coming. Look at these small ones down here. You don't have a lot of increase, but you have a little bit. I wish I could see a percentage increase. But this area like here, Chester County, at least is getting some growth from 2020 census to the 2021 estimate. So if you're only focused on Philadelphia County and Montgomery and Bucks County, you may completely miss out on maybe a couple of zip codes that are good to target here, right? So that's why I like looking at the data from this standpoint. Okay. So already I can tell you guys, I'm not feeling like Clark County. I'm not feeling Nevada. And on top of that, I've analyzed Nevada before. And here's another thing too, guys. If I only have one county, I can't really hedge my bets that much. What do I mean by that? One county means that everything is basically centralized in, I would say, maybe 45 minutes to an hour distance. It may take less time to drive from one part of the county to another. So if people are moving, they're moving completely out of this MSA. Now, if people are in Philadelphia County and guys, New Jersey, so let's just do Philadelphia County to Salem County. Guys, this is just market selection. We haven't even gotten to the list pool yet. And that other one was Salem County, I believe. Okay, guys, this is an hour away. And this is across the bridge in New Jersey. Guys, a lot of people, investors, if you ask them, and it doesn't matter what the investors think, guys, or what we think, it matters what the census thinks, because this is how they're categorizing it, and everything else is based off of that. You see everything trickle down from there, right? Right. So, for instance, if you have an attorney, they're probably going to practice law, closing attorney. I think if they use closing attorneys up there, they're going to practice law in both states probably, because they know if they're in real estate, they can get business from both areas, right? It'll be still silly if they say, "Oh, I'm only going to practice law in the Pennsylvania side." I think about these things whenever they're pulling lists. I'm not trying to make light of the situation here, but if I'm pulling data, or if I'm in an area, that's how I'm looking at it, right, on the ground. And it helps looking at it from this standpoint, because I think as investors, especially wholesalers, guys, we're always chasing the next deal. We're not looking at the market from this angle. I could tell you guys, because it took me a while to stop looking at real estate like a wholesaler, more of like a marketer, and that required me to one, start delegating, which allowed me to view things, to get out of the day-to-day operations and see things at a 30,000 foot view almost before they happen, which is good. So I digress again. Will probably happen a lot, but Salem County. So this is an hour away. Let's see, Newcastle County. Okay, 41 minutes. Now, let's look and see Clark County, how big that is. I want to do a distance. Okay. So, this is a pretty big area, but most of the population looks like it lives in a very, very tight, I can't say small, but it looks small from here area. So I'm going to see Henderson. I'm just going to do Kyle Canyon to Mission Hills. Guys, 38 minutes. So to traverse this whole MSA, it would take 38 minutes. So I don't like that, because number one, most of the people be homogenous. Number two, they're asking for the same price. Number three, it's a very small surface area. Number four, guys, if people move, right? If people move in from a house that they own, right? And let's just say they're upgrading. So they're moving from their starter home and they're turning that into a rental, and then they're moving to another area. Usually they move somewhere in the state, and it's usually only about 30 to 40 minutes away from the main house. And usually that's going to be in the same MSA with different sort of characteristics in that market. And it's far enough from the house where they start forgetting about it. They may not go over there that much. Here, if they sold their house, I'm telling you guys, you can look at your data and think about your leads where you call, if it's rented or if a family member is living in it or if somebody's renting it, most likely than not, that person lives in the state and they only live about 30 minutes away, if that, right? But with this, they're basically moving in the same area. I want them to move a county over so the trees look different. Everything looks different there. They get caught up in that vibe. And then when they go back to the not so nice part of town, they forget. They're like, man, I can't believe we lived here and raised our family here. No, it doesn't look very nice, right? But if they just live in the same area, I doubt that they're going to move. They may move out somewhere else, but most people, I'm not going to say most people, they might live there. Guys, all I'm saying is that there are a lot of cons and negatives, and those aren't only negatives. There's a lot of negatives with focusing on an area that has a small surface area like this. And you can tell it from, I can tell you this, guys, too. The last time I did a campaign in Las Vegas, full transparency, it completely bombed. I did that for a client in 2021. That was one of two. Actually, only one campaign that bombed. The other one was in Indianapolis, and it was a guy that basically he was trying to put a lot on my shoulders, and he was stressing me out. But his campaign was in Indianapolis, and that actually did really well. But in Las Vegas, guys, that one, we barely generated any leads. I felt really bad. But there was nothing I could do. But in retrospect, looking at it now, it actually makes sense. I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't target this area. So my friend, whoever asked me that question about Las Vegas, I'd say unless you're really hard pressed to, maybe you have like maybe you need to stay within there because you could do a lot more for our sweat equity with getting to the certain properties and like maybe door knocking and doing bandit signs, which will save on marketing. Maybe if you're starting, I get that. It's enough for you to get a few deals. I don't think it's enough for you to scale. It's enough for you to start it. It's not enough for you to scale it. It's not enough if you guys are thinking about going to this for a virtual market. I would not think about going to here for a virtual market. And I didn't even check what the home prices are going for, meaning what are Las Vegas median sale prices. So this is the main characteristics I look at. I'll go to Redfin and I'll go to Market Insights, and then I'm looking at the median sale price, $395K. That's not bad. I like seeing around 300,000, maybe 280 to 300. The reason because is I like seeing the median sale prices for animation quarter 2, 2023. Maybe it would just be quarter 1. So I like seeing an area where the median sale prices are right around about half of whatever the national average is. National average is 436. 436 divided by 2. So around 218, 220. This means that you're going to be an area where there's going to be flips. Guys, I don't target areas like MSAs that are at like 100,000. Those are war zones. Like, I'm not talking about individual zip codes here and there. Maybe you got 2 zip codes that are at 100,000 or less, but the whole MSA where it's like 100, 120,000, absolutely not. Don't do that, because you're not going to be able to tack on a 20K assignment fee. And those types of people in those areas, guys, they probably have probate issues. They probably have issues dealing with heirs, like a lot of heirs on the deed, like probably got et al. On every property there. The data is probably not clean. You probably have issues with the people tearing down the properties and it's still being listed as a single family home. But when you market to it, it's a freaking lot. So there's a lot of issues that come with targeting a market that's in the sub 100K price range. So guys, we haven't even gotten to pulling the list yet. We probably won't even get there because I got to make a call here at 2 o'clock Eastern time. But this is just to show you guys what all goes into just purely market selection. And it's about elimination versus qualification. All right, that's another one you guys could tweet. It's about elimination versus qualification. I'm all about eliminating, because if I'm eliminating certain areas, zip codes, criteria, right, certain sellers, that means I only am targeting people that fit my criteria. I only need to get them to say yes. Everything else about the property, where it is located, should be a check mark. You shouldn't get somebody who says yes and you're like, ooh, I don't know if I can do anything with that house. Guys, you didn't pull a clean list. So you're going to get somebody who's on your list who says yes, and then you're like, oh, well, we're just going to pass on that. What? Guys, you're basically wasting your market. What are you doing at that point? I mean, I don't mean to be so like harsh here, but that is so true. Like I'm telling you, whenever I'm going in to pull my list, I know every single person on that list outside of erroneous data that may slip through. And guys, you may have like 1% of your data that's dirty, right? So when I pull my list, it's just the name of the game. I may pull 10,000 records here, like I'm pulling a list for a client of mine. I may get a single family resident that's classified as a lot, but it shouldn't be ubiquitous, right? If it's at 1 out of 5 properties, there's something wrong with your data source there, but it's not. Oh, there was a point here I was going to make, guys, before I forget, and I think it was about the mortgage info. And it was a little rant I was about to get on. Okay, they got LTV in here. I almost got them. So loan to value, guys, if you see loan to value, that's more accurate than equity. So that's just another tidbit. Loan to value means like how much of the loan has been paid off versus the value of the loan. So it's actually the opposite. I don't want to confuse myself here. So if it's 20% LTV, that means that it has 80% equity, right? If it's 80% LTV, that means it only has 20% equity. So that's the catch. So it's opposite, which is confusing. But I think more of these tools are using LTV versus equity, which is good. Let me see if I got any questions over here or comments. Okay, cool. Good. If you guys got anything for me, let me know. You guys getting value out of this? I hope you guys are. I'm just going to check on YouTube. This is actually my first time streaming on YouTube. So I'm going to just mute myself quick to see how everything's going on there. How's everybody doing on YouTube? You guys liking this? Okay, we got a little participation. That was GMAC on YouTube there with that. So guys, give me like just 30 seconds. Let me grab my water. Again, so our parts here talking, and we'll get right back to it. I'm gonna put my glasses on for a second. I may glare, but your boy is highly sensitive in the eyes. Okay, we are back. So, guys, we haven't even gotten to market. We haven't even gotten to the list pool yet. We're just on market selection. So, I showed you guys some negative stuff. Let me show you the positives now and about the Philadelphia area. So number one, like we went over, we have a lot of population here, 6 million. I'm just going to go ahead and remove the Clark County stuff. Guys, just like that, you saved yourself time, energy, effort, and money. Just like that. And a difficult next 30 days in the marketing campaign. So it's important to know if you are having trouble out the gate, just off the rip, it seems like you start your campaign, you got a good list, you got all this stuff, and it just seems like you never get your lead flow off the ground. It's probably the market. Guys. And you determine that based off of what people are saying. That's qualitative research. You really don't know that until you start talking to the people. And let's just say people are calling. They're like, yeah, I want X, Y, Z for my house. But like, why are you calling? This is a weird call. I mean, like here's another one. If people keep on saying, I have a realtor, guys, these are affluent people, are affluent-minded people. You may be thinking, well, the houses the ARVs are only $350K. They're affluent-minded people. Maybe the area just got super gentrified, like downtown Charleston in the last 10 years, where I grew up, or North Charleston. That was the hood. You know, when I started there we were contracting lots for $3,000 and wholesaling them for a $3,000 assignment for $6K total. These same lots, they're building $300,000 houses there. That was in 2015, guys. 2016, 2017. So I had to do the math there. So, like 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. And with that, the demographic pretty much changed overnight from basically Black, older, right, uneducated, unfortunately, to hipster, right? So, and maybe the home values maybe they were 40K and now they're 300K. So in comparison to like a Las Vegas, in comparison to like a Los Angeles, California, or in another affluent area, you may say, well, in 350K, why are these people being like this? You need to look at the history of the demographics of the area. That all in combination, guys, can be why you're not generating leads. It's not just one thing. It's like all this in totality. And when people come to me for me to diagnose their marketing campaigns, it's like I stopped doing that for one because I was getting a headache. I would have to like sleep and take some Excedrin afterwards. I'm not even kidding when I would look in some campaigns, but it was almost like people would come into the conversation and the consulting call with either leading questions or preconceived notions, and I'd have to unpack those preconceived notions about marketing and then tell them what's right and how it should look. They went from that to be like, just give me my money. Give me your money. I'll do your marketing for you. And I do that, and I'm still doing that for people too, guys. So my capacity is about 5 to 10 a month. We have four people that we're doing done for you marketing for right now. So if you guys want that, tap in with me. I don't mind doing that. But my biggest thing is providing you guys with data, market selection, and the list pulling. This is my thing. So if you guys are getting value out of that, please consider working with us. I love doing this, and I would love to get you guys right. So you don't have to think about all these things. I got your back, seriously. Okay, so let's also look at some other things in this area. Okay, so Philadelphia County, like where I see there, I see 1 million people. And here's another thing too, guys. So if I were to pull a list here, I probably won't get to that in this stream, but if I were to pull a list here, I'd go in Philadelphia County and I'd probably pull maybe 80% of my list there, but I'd also go maybe in one of these up and coming areas, probably Burlington County, maybe Chester County. I'd probably sprinkle in 1,000 or 2,000 records in my list in some up and coming zip codes here. That's a key. So if you guys are like, man, I want to get a tired landlord list, or you want to get another list from PropStream, you might be better off instead of going here and you maybe get a niche list here, but you might be better off just going to a different area other people aren't targeting, right? So let's just say I'm doing like Salem County. And I won't pull my whole list there, but I might go to Salem County and be like, man, nobody's targeting this area. I don't have a lot of areas, guys. 12,000 properties to choose from in Salem County. Let me see if I have any filters on here. Maybe I have some filters. All right, I cleared all my filters. Okay, 33,000. That's still not a lot. That's still not a lot. And let's just say I might go here and may go get tired landlords, I don't use PropStream to pull my list, guys. I'm just using this as an example because everybody is familiar with this. But guys, everybody's going to be doing that. What I would rather do is say, okay, what zip codes do I have to choose from in this area? So this is in Salem County. All right, so I got a couple of zip codes to choose from. I'm just going to start putting these into Redfin to see how many homes sold. And guys, that's really the X factor I'm looking for to determine whether I need to start going down a further path with a particular area, meaning analyzing it more, right? So if I go to Market Insights and this looks sparse and rural, I'm only seeing 1 home sold. I like at least seeing 20 homes sold. So I wouldn't target that one. 008, 023. I don't have a lot of stuff here, guys. 1 home sold. But what I'm looking for is possibly, guys, there's a zip code that stands out. So let's keep on going. 08038. Okay. Okay. 2 homes sold. So far, nothing's here. That's fine. 08067. Okay, 9 homes sold. Still not where I like. Let me just put these here. 08069. Okay. 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 So 37 homes sold, right? So let me see what the volume looked like over here. So it looks like we were averaging about 45 to 50 homes sold over the years. It dipped from in February. That's actually a big dip over the last 3 years. That's like the lowest dip. But then it bounced back with 37 in March. So if I'm looking at this, guys, so area is just as important as the type of list. So guys, if I'm over here, and this is the final point I'm going to make here, and I'll end on this. So if I'm over here in investor or in PropStream, and I'm like, okay, let's just say I'm in Philadelphia County, and I know everybody and their mom is in Philadelphia County. Excuse my. Oh man, guys, are we going to make it? Are we going to? Am I going to be able to spell Philadelphia? That's really the question we need to know. Okay. Okay, Philadelphia County. Okay, so guys, okay. So why is that not coming up on PropStream? You guys see that? Okay. So that's another thing too. You cannot search by county on here. Maybe you can. Oh, guys, yeah, you can't search by county on here. That's a limitation, guys. So you can only search by city on here. Now you can put zip codes, but that's a limitation, guys, because what if there's areas outside of the Philadelphia city that are in the county, but you would have to know the city. I don't trust that. I trust zip codes over cities. So you see, guys, even with that, that's an inherent limitation. And I'm able to get that in my tool versus in PropStream. So you have like everybody basically targeting the same combination of records in each market. I know good and well in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, if we have 6 million people that live in this whole area, but what did we say? 1.5 million people. We're going to have over 500,000 housing units. That just doesn't add up. Think about that, guys. If we have 1.5 million people that live here, we're only going to find 584,000 houses. Now I understand there's apartments, but you got 1.5 million people roughly living in apartments. Where else? Where else would they live, guys? Nursing homes. I mean, I'm pretty sure mobile homes are included, but let's just say this is single family homes. Like, I don't know, guys. That's not adding up. You see, people don't question this, but they want to have questions whenever they call people and they say my market's competitive because everybody I call in Philadelphia says they're calling. I mean, everybody says that the same. Basically, everybody's calling them about the house. Well, maybe it's because everybody's pulling the same list from the same data source. Thought about that? So that's actually something important to state. But there was another point I was going to make here, guys, before I finish. Lose my point here. Hey guys, there's a lot of good points. I guess I'll end it there. If I remember, I'll go live again. But hope you guys got value out of that. Oh, okay. So somebody did say you could search by you could search PropStream by county. Okay. So you can search by county. Let me see, guys, here. I mean, I don't use PropStream like that, guys, but my point still stands regardless. It's there's like inherent limitations with this tool, and everybody is going to be pulling that same tool. Okay, this was a point I was going to mention before I forget. Your area, if you're going to an area that's up and coming that nobody else knows about and nobody else would consider targeting, that at one point was considered rural and the outskirts, but now there's getting home sold activity, and then the median sale price is increasing, but it's not too high. Those are more valuable than pulling a niche list here in a major city, like in pulling a pre-foreclosure list in Philadelphia. That list sucks anyway, but like a divorce list in Pennsylvania or in Philadelphia. Let's just say you did a senior owners. Guys, all zombie properties, it doesn't matter because other people are targeting these lists and they're easy to get. So think, if it's easy to get, it doesn't mean it's bad. It just means like everybody else has it. And then if they put it in front of your face, it's like, it's good to start off with. It's not good to scale. I know most people that follow me, they're looking to scale their businesses, and you have to have a strategy when it comes to that. It can't just be like, well, I think I pulled all the data there. And then the worst thing is, let's just say you have 50,000 data or records there, skip trace. And you're like, okay, well, what do I do after that? Like, you don't want to go in there and pull any other records because you don't want to skip trace the same data. So you just go into another market. I've seen that happen. So you want to make sure you're strategic about this, and you're also going about this. You're also mixing in some areas that other people wouldn't consider targeting. And that's why I get out of those echo chambers. Me personally, I don't go to RIAs and stuff like that. I don't discourage that, but just filtering the information that's coming through and not following the hype machine. I follow data and stats. I don't get caught up in hype. Every time I get caught up in hype, I end up getting unfocused and losing focus. All right, guys. So I'm gonna stop that there. I'm glad that you guys were able to join. Let me stop sharing my screen. And I'll do these more often. It's Friday. I may go live tomorrow. So if you guys are up and on here tomorrow, I may be on as well. All right, later, guys. Bye. And this is my first time doing this stream, and I don't know.